I've been on social media since 2012, and while I've gone on podcasts and things recently, I currently have an account that has over 115,000 followers, and I typically talk about how I got that account to grow. But what I don't talk about is all the mistakes I made and all of the challenges that I faced along the way. Most people come to me now and ask me, like, how did you grow your social? And I tell them all of the advice that you'll hear from all the other people on YouTube talking about, like, optimize this, do that. But I wanted to do something different. I wanted to tell you all of the shitty things that I did and all of the horrible things that you might be doing that didn't help, but were kind of a hard learning lesson, because I learned a lot of things the hard way. I would say I learned practically everything on social media the hard way. So in 2012, when I was making videos, these were actually for a friend of mine, and he was posting them on YouTube. So he was like, I want to make a YouTube channel and I want to create content. So we would spend 2 hours in the gym trying to make like a 5-minute video, and it was horrible. We thought that people wanted education and they wanted us speaking from an authority standpoint. And what that means is, an authority standpoint means you have experience or credentials, pretty much those things. And we had neither of those things. We had just started coaching CrossFit, and we were trying to tell people, like, this is what you need to be doing and this is how you do it, rather than speaking from experience. So that's one of the biggest things that I would suggest to people is, too many people try to speak from an authoritative standpoint instead of taking people through their journey and telling them what worked for you. So here I am, kind of coming from both fronts. Is I'm going to tell you the entire journey, and now having accounts that are running well, now working on social media full time, I can kind of give you more input. So I also started my Instagram in about 2012, and it was just pictures and random things like that. And as soon as videos started getting introduced, I started posting my lifts. I started, tagging all of these companies and all of these brands. And here's kind of where I see a lot of people doing this now, and it's just absolutely horrible. I would essentially go out and beg people, like, please like my stuff, please follow. I want to get, to 10,000 followers. I wanted that swipe up feature. So fun fact, back in the day, if you wanted to be able to post a link on Instagram, you had to have 10,000 followers, and it was actually a swipe up feature. So instead of a link that you would click, they'd be like, okay guys, check out my thing, and then go ahead and swipe up here, and you would swipe up and it would take you right to the link, which was really beneficial if you had a YouTube channel, which we were trying to grow a YouTube channel. So I was posting my videos, posting my lifts, but then I would be reaching out to companies, be like, I could sell all your stuff to my friends. I want you to, can you sponsor me? And again, I thought because I had 1,000 followers, I was awesome, and I thought people should be following me. Why weren't people following me? I give advice to people nowadays, and I think maybe they don't know that I used to do those things, so they think that I'm, kind of like bagging on them. I'm not. I used to do these things, and now coming so far, I know that it's just not the right way to do things. Companies want you to be able to provide them value. They don't care, and they know that you can't sell this to your friends, because if you did, you would be already doing that, or you would have a different job. You'd have a sales job. So maybe you can sell it to 10 of your friends, but probably not, and we're probably not going to sponsor you with 1,000 followers or 500 followers, right? It doesn't make any sense for the business. So I kept posting, and a few years in, I had a buddy of mine. He was using this bot service. So real quick, just to note, guys, using a bot on social media is horrible. You can get your account, you can get it like completely banned. But I want to tell you what this bot did, because it showed me how to help get reach and how to get more likes and how to get followers and stuff let me just explain. So the bot he was using, fun fact, this service actually got shut down by Instagram because it was so good at tricking their AI, or their bot at the time, on determining if it was a bot or not. So you've always been able to go and buy followers, buy likes, buy views, buy, all that stuff. So what that bot did, so my buddy showed me how to, you would go and you would put a time that this bot would go like photos in a specific hashtag. So Instagram was a little bit more simple back in the day as well. This bot service, I think, got shut down in 2017. So he grew from 1,000 to 70,000 followers using this bot. You would go on, it would put random, so on Monday, it would like stuff from like 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. And then you could put it to do, essentially what you made it do was you made it go like and comment on stuff. He would never put comments on there. He would always just do likes, and he would do hashtags within whatever like niche we were in. So we were in the CrossFit space, so he would do like hashtag CrossFit, hashtag CrossFit workouts, hashtag CrossFit gym, whatever. But because the bot wasn't consistent, you could even put different times on how fast it liked things, whatever. It was really smart. What I started understanding was, because I'd ask him like, how does this even work? I don't understand how you're not getting banned or flagged or, you know, shadow banned in the back of the day. And he would be like, because it is doing it at random intervals throughout the day. Not every day is the same. So it's mimicking a human. So what we deduced from that was, okay, so if you are going on hashtags in your niche and you're liking other people's photos, more than likely they're going to see your name pop up in their notifications. And I don't know about you guys, but I typically will see, if I see somebody new in my notifications, I'll click to their profile and see what the heck they're doing. So anyway, that got shut down in 2017 because Instagram was like, yo, that's way too good. That's what I think happened, because it wasn't able to catch his account. His account was fine. He actually shut his account down. He doesn't do social media anymore, but anyway, it worked. It worked really, really well. He grew on YouTube. He grew on Instagram. It was nuts. So I decided, what if I just mimic what that was doing? So random times in the day, I'd open my phone, go to a hashtag, and I'd like stuff, and I'd scroll through. Now, here's where things went wrong again, is as I got closer and closer to 10,000 followers. So along that entire journey, I was posting all of my, all my lifting out, but it was for me, right? I thought that people would see my lifts, and I wasn't accomplishing anything. Accomplishing meaning like I wasn't going to the CrossFit Games. I wasn't doing anything that was valuable in a sense of like, look at me, you should follow me because I'm an athlete. It was more like, this is my journey, but I didn't frame things that way. It was pretty much just like, yo, this is my PR, check it out. Freaking CrossFit Open, whatever. When I should have been telling people like, I'm a full-time student. Here's when I go to the gym. I'm passionate about coaching. And I should have shared all of these different categories of my life. But it was just the same thing over and over. So again, people were watching it and they're not getting value from this. So if you're posting right now and you're just posting your workouts, but you're not providing any insight on like what you're doing, your life, again, you're just making the same mistake that I was doing, which was just posting my workouts every day with no context, with no backstory, with no like, this is who I am and this is why I'm doing this. Anyway, along the way, I did meet some cool people that worked for companies, and I would ask them like, hey, can you give me something for free? I want to do a giveaway. I wanted to do giveaways so bad. I'm going to do a 10K giveaway. And I would beg these companies like, please give me stuff so that I could give it on my giveaway. I'll shout you out to all my 9,800 followers. I'm going to get to 10,000. It's going to be sick. And again, this was just the wrong way of doing things. I was so focused on trying to find new followers and like pull people in. I would go see, like meet people and try to like, oh, can you share me on your story? Like, how dumb is that? Can you believe that? I can't believe, now that I say that out loud, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I was asking people and trying to figure out a way to get them to share me on their stories. Like, it's ridiculous. Why not just make good content that makes them want to share my content on their stories? Why would I, like, it's awkward feeling too. People do this to me nowadays, and they'll be like, hey, can you share me on your story? And in my head, I'm like, no, that's weird. It's weird. Like, make content that I would want to share on my story. Don't ask me to just share your workout on my story. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't provide value to my followers. Again, the reason I know these things is because I did them. So I only had one account that I grew. It was almost to 10,000 followers. I begged a bunch of companies to do a giveaway, and then we did a huge giveaway. And by huge, I mean I posted this giveaway and practically had to DM everybody and tell them that I was doing this giveaway so that they could win, you know, some gear, some drinks, and some other random stuff. So it wasn't worth it for the companies in hindsight. It wasn't worth it for me. And then once I hit 10K, I thought it was like I would keep growing, but turns out when you beg people to follow you for all 10,000, and the videos I was posting that would do good would be like challenges. So it's like, anyway, I got to 10K and I didn't get to 10K the right way. I was begging people to follow. I was, you know, liking a bunch of random people's stuff and telling them to follow me. And from there, you don't build any momentum. You don't generate any momentum. So don't do that. Okay. So that's how I learned that. That account, I mean, I continued to use it. I continued to grow. And then in 2018 is when I started, I'm pretty sure that's when I started Meme for Time, which is my main account now. And I wanted to do everything right on this account. I wanted to make sure that everything that ever happened on this account was just legit. I didn't want to beg people for followers. I didn't want to tell people to share. I did that in the beginning a little bit because I didn't really know. I thought, hey, hey guys, I'm almost at 1,000 followers. Help me get there. Hey guys, I'm almost at 2,000 followers. Help me get there. Again, I look back at some of the stories I had and I'm like, what am I doing? That was so unnecessary. All I needed to do was post content that people would want to share. Like that, it's so simple, but it was so challenging to understand. So those of you going through that, I understand completely. So 2012, Instagram, horrible YouTube videos. I made like over 1,000 YouTube videos, and none of them have really done that great. So I'm still learning. We're starting another YouTube video right here, but you know, took what I saw from my buddy's bot and just did that myself. Begged people for followers. Reached out to brands, asking them to sponsor me. So these are all the no-nos. This is the ugly stuff. When I started Meme for Time and I decided, let me do everything I thought was legit, I posted just like pictures with words on the top. And I come to realize now is if you're not in the videos, it's hard for people to connect with you. They don't know who you are. They don't know what you're about. What are you doing? Why should they care? They just see like, oh, this is a meme page. I'm going to follow it for the memes. So I can't remember if it was 2020 or 2019. I don't remember, but I decided I wanted to be in the videos. And while I was posting on Meme for Time, the pictures with words on the top, like memes, I actually made a few skits on my regular page. The one that I grew by, like begging people for followers. Fun fact though, that account's at 20,000 followers. And actually, what's crazy is because Meme for Time has grown so much, every time I post any other account that I run, people will follow those accounts or they'll see those accounts and follow just because Meme for Time has grown so much. So that original account is at 20,000 followers at the moment, but I rarely post. And what's weird and what's kind of funny to me is all of the things that do well on that account are like things in my life. They're like life events, not workouts, not what I thought I grew the account to do, but literally the people following care about my life. So it's like if I accomplish something and I post it, it does great. If I do something with my wife and I post it, it does great. If I post me working out, it doesn't do great. So it's funny that it really is a personal account. People care about what's happening personally. They don't care about my workouts and stuff. But I still post my workouts there because that's what I enjoy doing. So anyway, Meme for Time, wanted to make skits. I started posting skits on my personal and it did okay. And this is when I found out and realized that if you have an account and you focus on posting something similar there consistently, then your followers will know what to expect. So instead of posting skits on my personal, I started posting them on Meme for Time, and it started doing way better than it did on my personal. And because on my personal, it was friends and family and just people who had kind of like followed the journey and met me in real life. And then Meme for Time was people who came to laugh and to have a good time. So I was like, okay, these, when they get pushed out initially to people, are getting shared and they're getting commented on. And back in the day, it wasn't shared. People would like tag their friend so their friend could go see it. So people were tagging in it all the time and they were getting a lot more views, and like the momentum was growing and growing and growing. So that's practically 0 to kind of the start of Meme for Time. All of the things that I tell people not to do nowadays is what I did with my original account, which is just make good content instead of begging people to follow you. Meme for Time started doing the skits. And now again, this is kind of like the good, bad, the ugly. This is the good stuff. This is where I started understanding what to do and how to grow. And what I started realizing is the more you engage with other people within the same community that you are, the more that they will potentially engage with you. So it took me a while to grow and grow and grow to have some sort of credibility, because I wanted to make videos with athletes and other creators. But at first, and then I want everybody to understand this, especially if you're new on social media, I want you to pretend that you made something really valuable and it took you a long time. it's hard for you to then have somebody who isn't working hard, isn't really doing anything, ask you to, can you put me on your page? Again, it's because you were there. You were at the 500 followers, the 1,000 followers. You know how it felt. So it's like you want to help them. But at the same time, if they're not putting in the work, you're almost just like, why would I put you on my page, all of this work, and just give you eyes for free if you're not even doing the work? So that's how people saw my page as well. I didn't have that many followers, and I would reach out to these athletes and creators and be like, can we make a meme together or a video together? And I know what they were thinking now. They were probably like, why would I do something with you? You barely make any posts. You have no following. Like, it's just a one-way relationship. I'm just helping you. I'm not getting anything out of this. Now, there's a balance here. Obviously, not everybody's out to just, take advantage of you, but that's what it kind of feels like. People are trying to take advantage of what you've built. And now I understand that in this, at this side of things, but when I was small, I would message a lot of people and be like, can we make a video together? It would be so sick if we did this. What I started doing and what really started helping the growth is I would meet the athletes and I'd bring them an idea that fit their page. So instead of being like, do a video for me, it was, let me help you make this funny video. And they started, they were getting decent views and decent traction and decent shares. So definitely in the beginning, when I was reaching out to all these athletes, they were like, I don't know if I want to make something with you, but I would always comment on their stuff, like their stuff, respond to story. And just quick note, if you're asking something from somebody and you're not giving them anything, they are even less likely to want to help you. But if you're at least engaging with their stuff, commenting, liking, just remember that a lot of these people, they are sponsored and their sponsors are looking at the engagement on their social media. So if you aren't helping them in any way, they're not going to want to help you. So anyway, I would oftentimes go on their page, like everything, comment on everything, and I would try to engage consistently so that when I did ask them, hey, do you want to make a video? It would be a no-brainer. They'd be like, absolutely, you always engage with my stuff. You're always, you're responding to stories. Maybe even I'd use their code on stuff. I just wanted to provide them enough value for them to say yes. So that's a big thing on socials. If you want to collab with people, you have to benefit them in some way. Especially at the beginning, or you have to be making such killer content that they want to help you because they see that you're working hard and you're not just trying to mooch. If you're not working hard and you're barely posting and you're not doing anything and you're asking somebody something from somebody, it seems like you're mooching, So I started getting collabs, and collabs are a really good way to grow. So at this point, what I'm doing now is I'm engaging consistently with the people that share a similar audience in me. I am consistently reaching out to other creators and athletes in the space to collab. I am making my own ideas consistently, and I'm also bringing them ideas. I'm ready for the opportunity to collab. I am not meeting them and being like, okay, so this is what I don't know. No. I would meet these people and go, here, stand here, say this, do this. This is how you act. Okay, thanks. That's all I needed from you. I'll film my aspect. I wanted to make sure that I was valuing their time as well because they're busy. The collabs started increasing my own credibility. And again, we just kind of kept that going on for a few years. So it was like build, have ideas, stay consistent, work really hard, engage with people consistently, make content that is valuable to others, and then be ready for opportunities. I love the saying, luck favors the well-prepared. And in my eyes, social media being well-prepared means you can make your own ideas, you can edit your own content, you can post your own content, and you can adjust kind of the vibe of your content depending on who you might be working with. So again, in the beginning, I would try to change the vibe a little bit to fit the person that I was collabing with. At this point, I don't do that much. I just do whatever I want at this point, but it took a long time to get here. So during all of this, this is the working with other people on social media. This is going to be super valuable for people who are kind of like social media managers or social media manager hopefuls. Along this journey, a few years into building Meme for Time, I talked with a buddy who wanted me to help him with social media. and I did a really horrible job. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to approach things. And he didn't fire me per se, but he was like, yeah, I'm not going to pay you to do this anymore. So I did it for like 6 months, and I wasn't trying that hard to help him. I don't know how to explain it, like initiative. I didn't have a ton of initiative, so it wasn't in the niche that I was normally in. So I wasn't really trying that hard in aspect of like, I wasn't doing my research and doing everything that I used to do back in the day. So this is what I ended up doing is about a year later, after growing my own social, he came back to me and he's like, hey, look, I see that you're working really hard, and I think that you now can help me with the project that I'm doing. And I told him, absolutely, you're right. I didn't know what I was doing a year ago, but you did give me a chance. So what I did is I went back and I tried to think about all the principles that I applied to my own audience and how I did things. Sorry about the trash truck if it's super loud. So I took all of those principles and I told him, look, I will do it for like a pretty cheap price, because I want to use your account as like a proof of concept. So I took his account from 0 to 10,000 in like 8 months. And all we did was use the same principles that I used on my Meme for Time account, which was make funny, relatable content, make it educational in the description, and be consistent with finding people in your niche, liking, connecting, providing value to the audience that we're trying to garner the attention from. And it worked. And it worked really, really fast. And fun fact, that's actually why I have this car, because part of the deal was if I can get to 10,000, he would buy me this car, which I know is ridiculous, but pretty crazy how I ended up building that account. That account now he's kind of taken over it on his own, and he's doing whatever he wants with it. It's his account. And along the way, building Meme for Time, I also got the opportunity to work with a company called Paper Street Coffee. And now this was another challenge for me, because it wasn't just about building a following. It was about selling a product. This is something I talk about a ton with people, is if your only goal with social media is to get more followers, it's a very like challenging goal, because then eventually if you want to monetize your account, you've just focused on building followers. So it's like, what kind of followers do they have? You want to kind of do this in reverse. What is the product? What is the service? And then you want to decide from there what you want to build. That's not necessary. Sorry, this trash truck is making me not be able to think. I'm thinking of two things at once. Let me just wait for it to stop making noise. Anybody else like that? Anybody else like, there's two noises going on, my train of thought can't even focus on what the heck's going on. I think they're done. So back to building Paper Street Coffee and the challenge that brought. So again, building a following just to build a following makes it challenging to monetize your account. But if you have goals and you're a business owner, or you want to build a specific brand, have the brand in mind before you start building, because then you can target the right audience. So many creators and athletes and people that I know will have these huge followings, but then they'll try to sell a product and they can sell zero. It's like they have 100,000 followers and they can't sell a single product or service. And it's because their following is made up of people who wanted the value that they provided when building their social. And that's a very important concept, is how you build your social is you're setting the expectation for what's to come. So if your expectation of your social initially is that you're going to be selling a product or service, people aren't going to be annoyed when you post about your product or service, because that's known. So anyway, Paper Street Coffee, they had a bunch of posts on their account that were like professional photos, and it wasn't good. It wasn't generating sales or driving sales to their account. And I told the owner, I said, hey, I'll do this for free for 1 month because I feel like I can do a better job, and I guarantee I can help you with sales. And at the time, I didn't actually know if I could help with sales, but I figured the principles that I knew could help drive traffic to the website, which would help sales. So what did I do? I decided, let's try to get the vibe of Paper Street Coffee and show people that on social, because their professional pictures and their vibe in person was completely different. So I started posting more videos of just kind of who they were and how they do things. And we literally doubled. We haven't had a worse month than the first month that I helped with social. So that first month we doubled the revenue. And we have sustained that number every single month since. And it's been a year and a half, 2 years. And fun fact, there's months that we had 10 times and 20 times revenue just by utilizing social media. I do help on like email marketing and stuff as well. But just social media was the catalyst. And yeah. And that's where we're at now. Now I'm building a social media community that this is my dream, is giving people all the information that I have, telling them all the stuff that I sucked at, and telling them what they could be doing better so they don't have to take, how many years has it been? It's 2025. So 13 years of trial and error. Now, I'm not perfect at it. I'm still learning things and I'm still growing, but that's the point of the community. It's not just to have a bunch of beginners and me telling the beginners what to do. It's to have beginners, people who learn and people who already are doing it, and they can help me. I can help them in some way, shape, or form. The beginners can learn and then start developing their own ideas and help me. And then eventually it's just going to be this giant community of people who care about social media, who have all of the things that they sucked at and all the things they did wrong, and they can bring forward those things so that we know all the things not to do, all the things we can do, and just help each other level up. That's literally my goal with this community. I think I pretty much described my entire journey through social media, all the things I did wrong. I've been banned on social media before. I posted a video of my omega-3s and my other pills, and Instagram AI decided that was me doing like self-harm because I had a bunch of pills in my hand, and they never responded and whatever. So like I've talked with so many creators. I have helped creators get their first brand deal. I have got my first brand deal. I've helped creators go from 0 to 10,000 to 15,000. I've gotten myself from 0 to 115,000. And I constantly provide feedback for people who are new, trying to sell a product, trying to sell a service. And I'm just passionate about it, and I just love it. So that is my entire social media journey. If you guys have questions about it, ask down below, or even join the community. It's on school.com about/massive action takers. And yeah, there's actually more to it. And what I'm planning on doing for my next video is talking about social media to sell a product. Didn't actually start with me and Paper Shit Coffee. I tried starting a supplement company. And when I started that supplement company, one of my members, because I was a CrossFit coach and I owned a gym, one of my members was like an expert copywriter, and they had helped market companies in the past and like made a lot of money doing that. He helped me a ton, but I didn't understand those lessons while I was in them, but I understand the point of them now. So I'll share that with you guys in the next video. Maybe tomorrow we'll talk about how I started a supplement company, and then how I utilized social media to sell it, how I used social media to drive people to the website, and kind of what lessons I learned from that person and how I utilize them now. And I'll I can't even talk. I'll end this video on this note: is social media is all about marketing. It's all marketing. So if you approach social media just trying to gain followers, that's your only goal, probably not going to be a great time monetizing it later. But if you approach it as you're just marketing a specific service or product, even if that service or product is you and the things that you do, just having that mindset helps you set better expectations and helps you plan better for your future. So, all right. That's pretty much everything, guys. Welcome to the Massive Action Takers. I appreciate it. If you have any ideas, take massive action on them and just start.